Hi, my name's Sven Gilkey. I'm the Cub Master of Pack 4019 in Bellingham, Washington. Uh, good evening. Welcome to our Be A Scout Day intro meeting. Tonight, I just wanted to spend a few brief moments with you guys online, hopefully answering any questions that you might have about our Cub Scout pack, as well as sharing some great information about what our pack does, and sharing some information with you about our virtual join night, which will give even more information about our pack and joining our pack, which we are going to be holding on September 23rd at 1 a.m. So, the information that you can get on that is at www.pack19.com. So, just so you're aware, I'm talking into a phone at the moment that's on my tripod, but I'm actually going to be answering your questions here in the Zoom. I apologize for muting everyone, but I didn't know how many people we would have joining, and I know that sometimes as people come and go, some of the sound from their house and things like that can distort and break up the meeting. So I'm going to keep everyone muted for right now. I'm going to be answering questions on my screen here in the chat bubble. And as we go through the next few minutes together, sharing some information, I want to be able to answer those questions. So if I look away from the camera, it's not because I'm ignoring anyone. In fact, it's because I want to pay attention to your questions. So, good evening. It's good to see a couple of chats already. Glad to see folks. One of the real quick, just so you know, this is the first question that that's here in the chat bubble, and it actually really segues really well into what our pack does. Pack 4019 currently meets at the Firs, which is right up the street from Geneva Elementary. We also occasionally meet at Geneva at the school, and so I wanted the first question that we had here is if we serve kids from Birchwood Elementary, which is in northern Bellingham, and by all means we will take any family that wants to come out, but that is where our meetings are, and we meet on Tuesday nights, usually starting somewhere around 6 o'clock, 6:30, depending on the den, and then we have monthly pack meetings that are also held, again, usually at the Firs, but occasionally at other locations, depending on what the needs of the pack are. So I would imagine that that's probably a bit of a drive for most of the families that live out in North Bellingham in that area. So if you're looking for a Cub Scout pack in the Sudden Valley area, maybe you also go to Wade King. That's a school that we've had kids in, is fairly close to where we meet. But there are Cub Scout packs that meet further into Bellingham and so on and so forth. So again, Pack 4019, Sudden Valley primarily is where most of our families come from, and the kids that go to Geneva Elementary is really the families that our pack works to provide scouting to. So all are welcome, but just want to be upfront that's where we serve. So some highlights about our pack. Now, obviously, the fact that we're having this conversation virtually right now is a sign of the times, unfortunately. And Pack 19, so I want to talk a little bit about what Pack 19's normal program year looks like. And obviously, there will be some adjustments with that. We're continuing to react to the changes that come out because of COVID-19. But our pack, it is built around a school year for the most part. We do have some summertime programs, but most of our program, especially on working on our rank advancement and things like that, happens during the school year. So we start in September with our kickoff and our program, and so we'll have a virtual kickoff this year, but we usually try to have some kind of fun activity when the kids get back to school to get them engaged and get them back excited with their dens. And then end of September, early October, we tend to do a camp out, usually at a state park somewhere in Skagit or Whatcom counties. And then, let's see here, September, October, mid-October, we have the Cub Scout Adventure Day, formerly known as Stampede, that's held at the Scout Camp at Fire Mountain over by Big Lake. The pack usually attends that fairly heavily. And then October, November, We've got our popcorn sale, which is our principal way of raising funds for our PAC program. We don't charge dues or anything. Instead, we have a couple of fundraisers that we take part in the year, and that covers our financial obligations. So November and December. The big thing in that time frame is we have a big Christmas party in December, usually held with our charter partner at the Firs, but it kind of hops around depending on, our PAC has really gotten big the last few years, so it's been a bit of a challenge to find a meeting location for such a big and vibrant group to meet for our Christmas party, but usually that's about the last week of school before Christmas break. Sometimes it's right at the beginning of Christmas break before parents leave town and things like that for the holidays. January, sometimes we do the Pinewood Derby, but that's kind of moved to March. For the most part, our big other event is in February, is the Blue and Gold, which is a traditional Cub Scout event where we recognize our oldest scouts, our Arrow of Light Weeblo scouts, crossing over into a scout troop. And so there's a big party for that, but then also recognizing the accomplishments of many of our younger Cub Scouts and what they're doing. But it's called the Blue and Gold. It's kind of a birthday party because scouting in the United States was founded in February. February 8th is the anniversary of the Boy Scouts of America. So the Blue and Gold banquet is, like I said, it's a big party. We've held it at a lot of different locations. Again, challenge with a large PAC is finding a meeting location for that. Mentioned the Pinewood Derby has been kind of moved over into the March timeframe, and then the highlight of the year for me. So we've got as things start warming up, we do a few other. We do some service projects with Geneva Elementary, the school that most of our kids go to, helping to clean up the grounds after the long winter and things like that. Celebrating Earth Day, we tend to do some trail cleanup, things like that. And then in May, usually in June, just before or just right after school ends, we do our graduation camp out where everyone gets a fancy new neckerchief as they move on to the next age range. So bears become Weeblos, wolves become bears, so on and so forth. And that's been traditionally held at Fire Mountain Scout Camp, our council scout camp, again, near Big Lake. So that's kind of just a run through of some of the big events that we do throughout the year. You can see some pictures of these events at www.pac19.com, where we put some of those up. So I'm going to hop over and we'll look at the screen, see what kind of questions we've had. So one big question, communication. How does our PAC communicate? So we do use email. The Boy Scouts provide us with a system called Scoutbook that allows us to communicate with families and whatnot. So it's an app on your phone, but it also generates emails that go out to families. So we use that. But the other big thing is we do have a PAC-19 Cub Scout group, and in order to post and things like that, you have to be a member of the group. So only current families in PAC-19 have the ability to do that. And so, at any rate, I know some people aren't really big Facebook people, but that has become a real solid tool for us to have kind of ongoing communications on specific topics, posting events, things like that. So, asking about the dues, again, our principal way of raising money. So we have the popcorn sale in the fall, which has been really successful. We've been really blessed with a really good popcorn sale the last few years. Obviously this year with COVID-19, it's going to be a bit more of a challenge, but we do encourage even our new scouts to embrace the popcorn sale and take advantage of some of the cool prizes and stuff like that the kids can do. So after the joint night, it won't necessarily be a part of the joint. We'll have a special parent orientation where we'll talk about the popcorn sale and things like that. The other two fundraisers that we've traditionally done the last few years are a pancake feed for Easter and Christmas tree pickup and removal, which we do with our big brother troop, Scout Troop 4019. And so we have an area of Bellingham that we go around and collect Christmas trees. It's completely by donation, but that helps raise some funds as well. And then last but not least is that this is only the second year, this last year that we did it. And it wasn't huge in the PAC this last year, but we're trying to get kind of maybe make this a little bit more of a staple than the pancake feed, just because the pancake feed takes a lot of work to get done. But that is the council puts on a camp card program where kids, it's a coupon, kind of a coupon book, but it's a little card that gives you discounts at certain businesses and things like that. So those are kind of the fundraisers that we do to raise the money to provide the program. There are some additional costs that do tend to get paid for by the families, though there are scholarships and things like that to help pay for those. And those are your dues every year. And we'll talk a little bit more about what those are. I'm sure there's some information on the Be A Scout and the council website about some of those dues, so you can check those out. And then there is the Cub Scout Day Camp. We again, there's some scholarships for that, but Cub Scout Day Camp is a program put on by the council, usually here locally, and it's ours is actually a twilight camp, usually held up here in Whatcom County. So it's in the evenings. You get there around 4:30, depending on what time the drop off. Sometimes early as 3:30, and then we're out of there by 8 every day. So it kind of makes for a little bit of a long day for some of our Cub Scouts, but it's a lot of fun. BB gun, archery. It's a themed event, so different theme every year. We've had bug hunt, we've had CSI, Cub Scout, we've had passport to adventure around the world. This year was the county fair, so that was done virtually, so it was a little different, but a lot of fun for those things. So those are some of the things that we tend to pay for, ask parents to pay for. And again, there's scholarships to help with that. And sometimes, if your family does a really good job with the fundraising, things like that, the scholarships are paid for out of the PAC budget using the money that we raise through these events. So is some of the scholarships as well as paying for our general program. So let's see here. Other questions? Again, the question, when's going to the Join Night event? Again, that's going to be September 23rd at 1 a.m. Here on Zoom. And with that, we're coming up on about 12 minutes here at the intro meeting. I don't necessarily want to take a lot of time. Just a lot going on today. I know my kids are just in the living room doing some of the stuff for the National Council's Family Fun Fest. Are you guys having fun doing that kind of stuff? Yeah, no, the NASCAR driver talking about the Pinewood Derby, that was really cool. I'm looking forward to doing some of that. So my kids are wrapping that stuff up. And so I want to get back to them, but I wanted to spend a little bit of time just kind of introducing you to PAC 4019 and answering any questions. I'm not seeing any other questions getting posted. You're very welcome. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, I get to spend a little bit of time in front of the camera with work. Okay, well, again, I really appreciate your guys' time. Thank you for taking part in Be A Scout Day. Thank you for taking part in the Family Fun Fest. And above all, thank you for taking the time to consider joining our Cub Scout pack and our scouting movement. This is a great adventure that I know that my kids have grown from. I'm a Eagle Scout myself. I'm a product of the program, as they like to say. Scouting has done a huge amount for me. And so kind of in my closing remarks, since I'm not seeing any other questions, I just wanted to say that, again, scouting is not just a program for me and for my family. It's a major part of our life and something that we do. Scouting is about a life-changing opportunity to teach values and character. And if we can teach enough kids to do that, we can really leave an impact in the world around us. And so that's why my family is invested in making scouting strong and putting on a great program, is for that vision, that dream of creating a better world through the Scout Oath and Law. So I hope that you guys will join us in that dream and the adventure of scouting. And we look forward to seeing you at our virtual Join Night. And I really look forward to seeing all of our Cub Scouts, and I hope that some of you will be amongst them at our next in-person event, whenever that can safely be done. So with that, I hope that you've had a great Family Fun Fest, a great Be A Scout Day, and be prepared. Thanks, everybody. Bye.